Hey everybody, welcome to OtherRealm Studio. Once again, we'll be working on some pages for the Magnolia Fawn book. And I'm sure, once again, that Facebook auto captions are going to claim that it is the Magnolia Fawn book. But I swear I am telling you, it is the Magnolia Fawn book. And it's about baby deer. Fawn. Oh my goodness. Alright, so Facebook auto caption is horrible. Just so you know. Alright, so let's see. This is about the order that I want the story to go in. Let me see. And I need to, whoops. Now come on, it was not doing the whole black screen saving thing. When I was rearranging these earlier. Okay, let me turn down the volume on my background music a little bit. So let's see, last time I needed to do one more deer in the background. So if I go ahead and hide all these. And bring the sketch forward. Then I can grab a pencil and work on this. Or I could grab one of these previous deer since I've already got their whole all of them sketched in. So I did like this front sketch a lot. Okay. Oh, but the other thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to put this last deer nosing in on his neighbor's bottle, so one of Connie's latest videos is showing a little yearling buck who came back um, while she was out bottle feeding the younger ones from this year. He was looking in the pen like he wanted a bottle too. Trying to blend in with the babies. So it was funny. It looked like he was having a hard time finding a job out in the real world. He was trying to move in back home, be a baby again. Okay, let's hide this one. Alright, new layer. Paint. Um, Find a nice color. So today I kind of ran an impulsive little contest. I posted 3 illustrations from the book, and I asked what did they all have in common. That most people who try to raise a fawn or a found fawn do not realize. And it's something I talk about on the channel a lot. And see, the 3 pictures are this one that I'm working on now, and let's see, this one right here, this one, and the one I'm working on right now. So if you have an answer, you can put it in chat. But yeah, something about these 3 illustrations that's very important that most people who try to raise a fawn that they found do not realize. And I already had one winner on this, but I could do another. So I have the art prints. Those are done, at least. And if you can tell me what these 3 illustrations have in common, that people who are trying to raise a deer who are not professionally trained rehabbers, what they normally don't realize. By the time I finish painting this particular one right here, so if you can post the answer in chat before I'm done, I will send you the art print. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky to get the angle of the head right. Now, normally at this point, I would be reminding you about the Kickstarter. Um, but it's going to be over in a couple days, and um, and I'm really starting to think that primarily the people who are going to be interested in buying this book are not um, early adopter type people. And I think that's what Kickstarter appeals to. So I guess it's not really the right platform. Children's books are, well, some of them do well, actually, on Kickstarter. So perhaps it's not about children's books, but about this particular one. Okay, let me put the base of this ear in, and I think that will help me a lot with the angle of the head. Okay. He's getting pretty close. Alright, now it's time to grab some white for his spots. So earlier today, I decided I would take up crochet again. Uh, have not really tried to do anything with it in, solid decades. And all I ever really learned to do was blanket stitch. So, like, there's the chain stitch, and then there's the one you put on top of it to make a blanket. And you just go back and forth forever. I don't believe I've ever finished a blanket either. And I never really learned how to hold tension or anything. So, I'm figuring that out, I guess. Not very well. But I want to make little amigurumis, little stuffed animals. I saw a great pattern for a deer. Uh, but I'm finding out that I'm not very good at keeping count. So there's a lot of lost count going on, and I'm not sure if I'll ever actually be able to make anything good. But I thought I'd give it a shot because I've always liked yarn. And textiles and stuff. Alright, let's put the deer back in so that we can see. Hmm. Let's see. Widen that up to about a 10. And add some texture in. And now I can get back to the bottle rack. Okay, so I'm going to call this page done. So the answer earlier, well, wait a minute. Let me go back and add in the shadows and the highlights. Let's see. So before I tell you what was so important about these 3 pages that most people don't realize when they attempt to raise a found fawn, and it's something that's been kind of a problem this year. Connie's taken in several surrenders because uh, people didn't realize, and has also had to go rescue deer from out in the wild that were not equipped to become wild. Now, so the main thing that's so important about these 3 illustrations is that all these deer are being raised to be released one day. They're being taught what they need to know. And a big part of teaching them what they need to know is making certain that they imprint on other deer. So there's not people involved. As far as possible, Connie doesn't talk to them or pet them, even though they're terribly cute and it's very tempting. Um, she has to keep her distance and let them bond with the other deer. And so if she didn't do that, then these deer would be imprinted on people and it would cause all kinds of problems. But mostly being, if you try to release a deer that's imprinted on people, then you're going to have the issue of the deer looking for a herd. And as they grow up, they need to belong to a herd. And they will choose something that they imprinted on, something that's the closest to the situation they grew up in. And for a lot of these deer that have been uh, improperly raised, if the people haven't had the training. For a lot of these deer, it means children and dogs. And so, like, you can already guess uh, that there's a big problem with allowing a deer to be imprinted on children, especially when he grows up and grows spikes on his head. But also, if it's imprinted on dogs, that's just asking for trouble as well. So you have to remember that, although deer stay pretty small for a while, they're still kind of biggish wild animals. Um, they can total your car, and they have sharp horns and sharp hooves. And they absolutely can harm children. So the best thing to do is let the wild animals stay wild. And that can be difficult when your role is to raise them. But you absolutely have to be able to, um, well, emotionally neglect deer that you're trying to turn loose one day. Otherwise, they'll just keep trying to find people because that's how they know they survive. So you can see keeping all three of these in the same playpen together gives them the beginnings of their herd. Alright, so in the progression of the story, we have um, we have the deer in their natural environment in the forest by themselves. Let's put this through the Fit to Navigator so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, scoot this way. There's our cover. There's where I'm thinking about putting the QR code for the audio. Alright, so here we have our deer in our natural environment and a bunch of trees I still need to repaint. um, out in the wild, not interacting with humans the way things ought to be. Um, Deer closer to people, but still trying to keep to the wild areas. This one in what looks like a wild area to a deer, but the people trying to use the golf course are not going to appreciate it there. And then this one, um, in a meadow or a pasture. It could be anywhere. It could be one that is about to be mowed, but I wasn't really sure that I wanted to indicate that in a children's book because that's terrifying. And Secret of Nim vibes. Crossing the roads at dusk. And grazing in the yard. And here's Connie helping one. Because that's what she does. This one I was thinking of going into where phone can be left um, early in the morning before the mother goes to graze. That's possibly not like a great place to leave them, but how's a deer gonna know that? And here I wanted the preface to Jesse's story. And this is Jesse, who was born prematurely and barely survived and needed a lot of care. And here's how Connie usually takes care of injured deer when it's possible. She puts them with another deer their own size. But Jesse did not have any other deer his own size. He was just a little handful. So he couldn't have a bed buddy like this pair. And he was too weak to go in the playpen. And so he required a lot more hands-on care. So while all these fawn were growing up and getting bigger and being moved out in stages, he was struggling to catch up. Now, some deer, it's all right to pet them and play with them and get them used to human contact, like the piebalds. The piebalds usually have wonky legs and dwarfism and spinal issues and need a lot of medication and handling. So it's fine to teach them to trust people. Now, our ideal outcome for Jesse would have been to release him, but, and here I don't have anything for this yet because I'm trying to work out how that page is going to look. But when it came time to release him as a yearling, for some mysterious reason, he lost all his hair. And so Connie couldn't turn him loose. Now, while all the rest of the deer get to go to Deerland and raise future generations as wild deer the way they belong, among the forests and the streams, and the blue gradient, apparently. Jesse got to live in the sanctuary. And the next winter, he grew a nice winter coat, but his home was filled with Magnolia Fallen Rescue. And so I'm not working on these sketches today because I am not entirely certain that this is how they're going to go. But I will get around to them at some point. Let's reset this. So I know it hasn't quite been an hour yet. But I have page rearrangements and possibly some false starts and a few things that are not necessarily good TV. So while this is coming up, let me remind you of the Kickstarter. Here it is, 4 days to go. Less than that, really, because it ends like first thing in the morning on the 7th. And if you would like to back this project, all you have to do is hit the green button and enter your credit card number and, well, choose a reward for your pledge and enter your credit card number. And if you do not hang on, my brain, I got distracted for a second. If the Kickstarter does not fund, then your card is not going to be charged. This is an all or nothing funding model. So you won't get so if it doesn't get all $1,000, then, nobody gets a book, but nobody was charged anything either. But there's the ebook, there's the signed paperback, there's the signed paperback to sent over to Connie's or over here, and I can bring it to you from there because she's just next door. And save the shipping. Or there's the book and the art print. Or there's the bookshop special for 10 copies. Here's the art print, right here. So, here's all the work that I've done on this book since June. And there's just a couple more days that I'm going to be working on it this month. And then I'm going to be getting back to work on art commissions and setting aside my own funds to put towards this book. And anyway, thank you all so much for keeping me company and for following along on this immense undertaking. And I will see you all later. Good night.